Hey y'all, this is a little chart about school funding and who contributes and how much. Bear with me, it's gonna take a second and you're gonna need to put your thinking hats on for a second. So, 3 columns, local, state, and federal. Starts at 2008 all the way to 2015. 2008, we can see that the percentage between state and local, almost the same, right? And we go all the way down to 2015, and it shows that local, which is our property taxes, they're now picking up 50% of the tab of our school funding. Federal, all the way at the bottom, is picking up less than 40%. And on the right, federal funding, as we can see, we had a little bit of a tick up in federal funding from 2010, 2011, and then basically went back down. So I'm sure that was after the crisis. I'm sure there was a relief package distributed by the federal government. That's neither here nor there, whatever. Focus on the local and the state. I want you to ask yourself why. And if you've been a property owner paying taxes for a while, you might remember that jump in that era. So hang on to that. So these contributions are determined by our legislative budget board, which I believe is headed by our lieutenant governor, which is why I keep telling y'all that you really need to invest some time in getting to know the lieutenant governor's seat, who's running for it. For example, Vicki Goodwin is running against Dan Patrick for lieutenant governor. Mind you, lieutenant governor also gets to choose the committees, who's on the committees, who chairs the committees, right? Okay, hold on to that. By the way, I'm going to tag Vicki in the captions. Go follow her, go give her a donation, maybe set up a regular donation, because Dan Patrick has $33 million in his campaign fund. Okay? Legislative budget board, right? Lieutenant governor. Lieutenant governor gets to select the people on the committees, who's going to chair, blah, 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 right? Okay. Now, this is a report from a Senate Select Committee on Property Tax Reform and Relief, dated November 2016. Now, remember the chart that we were just looking at. That chart, again, from 2008 to 2015, it was showing you the contributions of local government, state government, federal government, okay? And the big thing that we saw there was that as the numbers were fluctuating, we could see that local property taxes were taking the bulk of the responsibility of funding our schools. Now, that is what was happening at that time. That report was made by, I think, Kinder Institute. Can't remember how long ago. Again, I got it off of Twitter years ago. I had the document at some point. It's probably on my laptop somewhere. I don't know. Anyways, you get the point. I had a screenshot. Now, remember, the lieutenant governor basically chairs the legislative budget board, meaning all those numbers that we saw on that previous slide, all of those percentages and figure out who's going to pay what, that's done on the LBB. That's what they do with the budgeting. That's what they do. Now, the lieutenant governor also gets to select people for committees, chairs, all that stuff. That's what they do. So at the very bottom here, you're going to see the names of the people that are on this committee. And let's see who's on this committee. First, my favorite, the chair, Paul Bencourt. Paul Bencourt. If you've watched my other videos, you've seen that Paul Bencourt was Harris County tax assessor. He won his last election in November of 2008. Remember, this was the time that Obama was running for office. This time, tax assessor's office was managing voter registration, provisional ballots, things like that. So he won his election in November. He and Obama, actually. And then in December of 2008, Paul resigned. He said he had a new job opportunity that he was going to take, but the news reports actually let us know that he was credibly accused of tampering with the election. Credibly accused by people even in his own party. Rest in peace to Jim Harding. Yeah. So he won office in November 2008, left in December of 2008. So there's that. And for funsies, as I've said before, Paul's name is the one that is on all of these tax exemption laws, amendments, same thing with the elections, including the propositions for citizenship voting. When you see his name, vote against it, whatever it is, I don't care. Now, who else on here? Kelly Hancock. Kelly Hancock right now is the interim comptroller right now, okay? Republican. Everybody on here is Republican except for Carlos and Eddie. I'm not going to get into them just yet. I need to go deep dive into Eddie's area. I have a feeling I'm not going to say it because I'm not sure. I'll look into that later. Carlos was arrested for, I think, money laundering and fraud by the feds. I think he just got out of jail last year. So, let you know the kind of people we're dealing with. And Van Taylor is currently a U.S. rep. Prior to that, he was a senator. The Senate seat he occupied was previously held by Kim Paxton and is currently held by Angela Paxton, Kim Paxton's soon-to-be ex-wife. Charles Perry, I don't feel like getting into that. I feel like I've done enough. Brandon Creighton is a Creighton. He was just appointed to be chancellor of one of our Texas universities. I think maybe Texas Tech. I can't remember. Texas Tech maybe. I don't remember, but he's a part of that whole spill. The things that are happening with our Texas universities, okay? It's all very nefarious. It's all very cyclical. If you look at all the board appointments, it's all the same stuff. So this committee is tasked with figuring out what's going on with taxes. They take a lot of public testimony, okay? And they write all this up, present it to Dan Patrick. At the end of this document, they say, okay, this is our summary of what we discovered and what we recommend going forward. And in this, they put a lot of the blame on the local government. And I'm trying to stay calm, sorry. But they basically blame the high taxes and property taxes on the local government, the mayors, the county judges, which is very interesting because if you remember the other slide, remember property taxes went from having like 45% sharing equally with the state, the responsibility for our school funding, to 50%. Mind you, the state dropped down to less than 40%. When we're in that report from that committee, does it mention how they budgeted? And I want you to sit with that for a second. I've been telling you that they have been blaming things on the local government because remember, it is advantageous for them to have us mad and yelling at our mayors, our county judges, our county commissioners, because, the property tax comes from them. The bill comes from them. So, yeah, I get it. But they're completely leaving out and omitting even in this damn report that it's due to this. Because if you look at your property tax bill, your biggest portion is what? School funding. So, yeah. So the same thing that you saw in that chart for school funding, I imagine that the same thing is happening for public safety, things like law enforcement, also infrastructure, roads, water, all the same things. I haven't gone to look at it yet. I'm sure I'll find something similar. What I want you to take away from this is the factual things about the budget and how it was changed and how it was adjusted in order to put more weight on the local jurisdiction, which is our property taxes, versus how it wasn't addressed or mentioned in that report that was official, nor how it matched their reaction and the end result of that, which was to create a tax code that basically was like a revenue cap. I want you to think about how this was portrayed in the media at the time. Do you think that they told the public and the media and the newspapers, do you think that they said, well, during our budget session, we actually moved a significant part of school funding from us over to the local jurisdictions and to cities and counties? Do you think they said that? Or do you think that they said, hey, the local government is out of control. These big metro areas, these Democratic elected officials, blah, blah, blah. Gosh, they just want to squeeze you dry. They want your home to be taken away from you. Please vote for us. Another revenue cap was added in 2019 for cities and counties, okay? Because they're telling us that is how your taxes are going to get lower. And as you can see, there's no way for our taxes to get lower if the budget is giving us more responsibility. That's not possible. Also, hopefully take away that there are other ways for them to reduce the responsibility and property taxes on us. They just seem to choose not to. They also seem to want to eliminate other revenue options like they're doing on this ballot with prohibiting various revenue options. So as always, vote against all the amendments. Check out the Substack in my bio. Check my videos. Let me know what you think about this. Repost it. And if you're in Houston, please vote for Jordan Thomas. Go to his website, give him a donation. Go meet Vicki Goodwin. Follow her, give her a donation. And if you're in HISD, District 7, you need to vote for Dr. Audrey Nath and Christian Menifee. Okay, bye.